Yo, have you heard about Anchor? It's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Welcome, everyone, to the L7C Podcast Wrestling Edition. Today, we have a very special episode because we are going to be talking about the Royal Rumble match and the Royal Rumble pay-per-view that will be going on this Sunday, 7 p.m. on the WWE Network. And since it's one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year, we couldn't just have our wrestling expert, Jacob, with us. We actually have two other people. We have the producer with us, Justin Akindele. How are you doing today, man?
Man, I'm doing good, man. It's the Royal Rumble, man. Let's fucking get it.
And we got the captain, Byron Mitchell. How are you doing today, sir?
I am good. I'm ready to talk about the Royal Rumble.
And then, of course, the wrestling expert, Jacob Mason. How you doing, sir?
Fantastic, buddy. Excited to do this. Excited to get my promotion on after this. Get that out of the way now. I won't be as lazy as I have been.
And then, obviously, the viewers and listeners can't see us, but Jacob has a Bootios t-shirt on right now as we're recording.
Best cereal out, man.
I had my other one on earlier. I got two Bootio shirts. I got one that has the Funko Pops and this one.
Justin, have you had Bootios?
Nah, but I always wanted to buy a box. I just never muster up the balls to put my hard-earned cash towards it.
Hey, I'm going to tell you right now that next WWE merch I get is that new R-Truth shirt.
Yeah, that shirt is hard.
If you haven't seen it, look up that R-Truth shirt. It has the 24/7, I-95, that whole spiel, all in a shirt. But, all right, we're talking Royal Rumble. We're going to really dive into this because this one's probably one of the most unpredictable ones we've seen in the past couple years. But before we go into that, this past Monday, WWE came out of nowhere with a deal with Peacock. And I know, Jacob, you were actually the first person who shared it with me. So if you want to talk a little bit about what you saw and what you think about it right now and how it's going to affect WWE going forward.
All right, so if you're out of the USA, for our non-American listeners, this doesn't affect you at all in the slightest. If you live in the States, so WWE sold the rights to the network, sold essentially all the entire network, a multi-year deal for $1 billion to Peacock, which is NBC's streaming service, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
So they're going to have that for years to come. And let's see, they have pissed off people already. They have pissed off Mickey Mouse and ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
They are blacklisting WWE. So I think Vince could give two shits less. Vince just made $1 billion in a day. So that's about the gist of it right now. In March, it'll go over. It's still going to be it'll be $9.99 for non-commercials, and then I forget if it was
$4.99.
$4.99 for if you have it with commercials. So that's not bad. I mean, I can't really complain. I mean, you're still paying the same price. If they jack the price up, I'd be a lot more upset about it. I really don't care if it goes to Peacock. That's fine, whatever. I gotta say, like, Vince McMahon coming out as the first guy to do the whole streaming, his whole product on one thing. And everybody thought like that was not going to work because he was going away from the pay-per-view platform and going to the network platform. And he set the precedent for all these other companies, UFC, WWE, all the other ones. and he just sold it for $1 billion. Vince McMahon, terrible storyline, is an absolute genius when it comes to business. Like nothing but like, good job, sir. You got it. You just sold a product for $1 billion that everybody thought was going to be crap.
Dustin, I'm gonna throw this one to you because obviously we do the NFL podcast together, and that takes a lot of watching of ESPN. And now ESPN is basically cutting off WWE because of this deal because they weren't informed that this was going to happen. And they've had a good partnership for a while now. Do you think cutting off ESPN is worth this deal? I know it's $1 billion now, but 5, 10, 20 years down the line, do you think it was good to alienate the worldwide leaders in sports?
Well, let me ask you something. Was ESPN airing any of WWE's product, any of their shows, any of their events or anything?
I will actually answer that. During WrestleMania weekends, Royal Rumble and SummerSlam, they would air old SummerSlams and stuff like that. And if you do remember, when the big pay-per-views happened, they would always have the top stars do the full day of ESPN, First Take, Pardon the Interruption, all of those things. So they were getting those promotions. I mean, shoot, what was it? Just a couple months ago, Triple H was on First Take, and he's been on there frequently. So, I mean, they're losing all that. And then I don't know what they're going to do with Charlie. Like, is Charlie still allowed to work at ESPN, or does she have to quit?
I think those shows that they were airing during the pandemic were on FS1, so Fox.
Okay.
So, yeah, ESPN wasn't really airing any of their stuff. I know NBC, Universal, they've been in business with WWE on the USA Network since Raw started. So that business relationship has been longer. I think inking that deal with Fox really made it so WWE doesn't really need ESPN to really promote their stuff or anything. So I think in the long run that they will be fine without ESPN. ESPN wasn't really pushing them anyway, per se. I mean, not like Fox or NBC. I mean, they weren't airing their stuff. So yeah, like, I don't think they're going to miss them too much.
Okay. And then Byron, I'm going to throw this one to you because Justin just brought up NBC, Fox, and all that. Justin, I don't know if you've also seen this, or Byron, I know me and Jacob have that. NBC is cutting off one of their programming thing that shows like hockey and all of that stuff. So that's actually going to potentially affect NXT, that if big hockey games are on Wednesday and stuff, NXT is going to have to get moved. So Byron, what do you think about potentially NXT now getting moved because NBC's cutting costs and hockey might be on USA on Wednesdays?
I mean, if NXT is moved, that'll be huge for the Wednesday night wars between NXT and AEW. So then, like, what night are they going to be moving to? Because if they move to Thursdays, I mean, they'll have viewership for a while, but then until NFL football comes back on, then they'll have to compete with NFL football. So, I mean, like Jacob said, it's a good deal, but there's so many questions now that needs to be answered. Like, what's going to happen now that this deal is done? So I think if NXT does have to move, I don't see what day they'll move to.
Because do also remember that New Japan's coming to TV,
right?
So they're going to have to pick a day too. And I think me and Jacob talked about that Thursday being a good day for New Japan fans. But like you said, but
with the New Japan stuff, that depends on when they want to air it. If they want to air, Tokyo Wrestling live, that shit's going to be on in the middle of the night. So they're going to decide if they're going to be live or tape delay.
I think they go tape delay to get more fans.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that'll be the move if I was running the company, but I don't know what they plan on doing.
If NXT goes to anything, it's got to go to Tuesdays, in my opinion. I don't think Vince wants to deal with Thursday night football. I think Byron nailed it on the head on that one. I think Tuesday would be the best option. I mean, what else is on Tuesdays?
Yeah, well, you have Impact on Tuesdays.
I mean, no one watches.
Yeah, but they're pulling 150,000
That's true.
viewers on Twitch.
Hold on Impact, because now they got the deals with AEW and all that. So
I mean, they doing AEW numbers. They're not even doing AEW numbers.
No, but when you have Kenny Omega who could show up on Tuesday on a random day and challenge for the belt, that's if you're a hardcore wrestling fan, you're gonna watch that over at NXT.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. But WWE has so much product out there. they can sacrifice a couple of viewers on NXT if the Raw and SmackDown numbers are looking right.
That's true. That's true. Jacob, you're a hockey guy. Are you going to be conflicted when hockey and AEW, and if they don't move NXT, like, how are you going to watch?
For me, it would just depend who's playing on Wednesday nights. Yeah, if the Pens are playing, I will watch the Penguins, depending on. But if something big's happening on AEW and or NXT, however the hell that's working, I'll watch that. I mean, or vice versa, back and forth.
Yeah, I think this is going to be big, but we're all going to definitely keep our eyes on it and see how it goes moving forward. Because Justin is our resident WWE Network guy. I'm pretty sure he'll get an email by the end of February saying what happens to his account and how to migrate it, because they still have to talk about that.
Yeah, I don't know how they're migrating it, but yeah, like Jacob said earlier, everyone's getting, so like initially you're going to get switched to the Peacock with ads, and then you have the whole Peacock library, and then if you want to upgrade and get no commercials, you're going to be paying the same price that you already were. So as a subscriber, I do not care, and I'm getting more content. So yeah, it's a win. It's a win for me as a subscriber.
That's true.
Now, one of my other biggest questions about the Peacock deal is, will they have it how the network used to be, where you could make a fake email and get a free month of WWE Network? Because if they do, sign me back up. I got like 10 emails right now.
Well, I know Peacock has a free version, so I don't know if you'd be able to watch WWE Network on the free version of Peacock. So, yeah, there's a lot that we don't know still.
Yeah, I would be so hot watching if you didn't pay like to get the ads off. You're watching WrestleMania and then a commercial comes up. Oh my God. I would be so livid. But
now, well, here's another question. How do you think will Peacock be able to handle the influx of all the people watching their streaming service for Mania? Because do you remember the first Mania? I think I was 30 when they did it on the network, and there was tons of streaming issues with that.
I would say this about the streaming thing, because everyone says they're prepared for fan stuff, and then they're not. For example, biggest streaming site in the world, Crunchyroll. They thought they were prepared for Goku versus Jiren the first time. They crashed. All the movie theaters who they thought they were prepared for when Avengers Endgame tickets went on sale, they crashed. So from my history, they'll say they're prepared, but they really don't know how many real wrestling fans are out there that are going to get it. So that's a very good point, because that first one was bad.
Didn't ESPN Plus just crash over the weekend for the Conor McGregor fight?
Yes, it did.
Yes, it did. See, they don't account the fandom and what it means to people, because once it gets past like hardcore fans, it's not just like something you watch. It's like a culture. Like, you're indebted in it. It's like they're not prepared for that. So we'll see, because their first big one will be WrestleMania.
Yep.
I do want to say with the UFC stuff, though, Dan White wanted to threaten everyone, threaten all the ones who were stealing it. So that's probably why ESPN Plus crashed. Dan White doesn't do that stupid shit and try to scare everyone into buying the pay-per-view, then the pay-per-view doesn't crash for everyone who paid. So that's Dan White's fault.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, once
they would say what you want, I was able to hop on Facebook Live and just type in Conor McGregor live, and I was able to pull up everything.
Yeah, I was able to pull it. I was able to pull it up too. I'm not going to say the site, because just in case Dana White stumbles on this podcast, I don't need him taking down my site.
Might have the feds coming after you.
I know, yeah. I don't need that on our mom and pop podcast. But let's get into this Royal Rumble. Before we even talk about the Royal Rumbles, it's my favorite pay-per-view, just because it's so unpredictable. And Justin, since you're on my screen right now, before we talk about this current card, what is your favorite Royal Rumble pay-per-view or Royal Rumble match, boys and girls?
I will have to say my favorite Royal Rumble of all time was the Royal Rumble in 2000, the new Millennium Royal Rumble. I was just watching that before I hopped on, and that Royal Rumble was amazing. You had the first tag team tables match with the Hardys and the Dudleys. You had the street fight with Triple H and Cactus Jack, which really put heel Triple H on the map, in my opinion. And then The Rock win the Royal Rumble. I mean, you just can't beat it. It was in Madison Square Garden. New York Royal Rumbles are always great. So, yeah, I'll have to say 2000.
do you have any favorite? I know it's recent. Do you have any favorite women's moments from Royal Rumbles?
Probably Becky winning hers.
Fair. Jacob, how about you, man? What's your favorite Royal Rumble pay-per-view, women's thing? What's your favorites?
I'm going Royal Rumble 2018 across the board, both women's and men's. Mainly because when Shinsuke won the men's Royal Rumble match, Asuka won the women's one. Yep. When Shinsuke won it, I never had such higher hope for WWE. I mean, I was like, oh man, they're going to change. Like, it's coming. Like, this is going to be great. They're actually going to do wonderful things with their product. And I was very high. Of course, they destroyed my expectations. Just ran me over with the bulldozer. And, that didn't turn out wonderful. But during that moment, I mean, my wife even has a video of me, like, losing my shit when Shinsuke won the Royal Rumble. So I'm just going to say 2018. Also, that was the first Royal Rumble that me and my wife watched together. So
nice.
I would say with 2018 too. If you look at that men's Final Four, it was Nakamura, Finn Balor, John Cena, and Roman Reigns. And Cena eliminated Finn, and then eliminated Cena and Roman to win. And then Asuka winning that first girls one. If you remember moments from that one where Trish Stratus came back as she went face to face with Sasha Banks. You never thought that would happen. And then we'd be not real wrestling fans if we don't say it, that at the end of the 2018 Royal Rumble after Asuka won, that's when Ronda Rousey made her debut and pointed that WrestleMania sign. So, yeah, man, that was a good one. Byron, how about you, man?
I blanked that part out of my mind.
I forgot about that shit too, man. I be forgetting Ronda Rousey was in WWE.
Yeah, for a whole year.
She debuted that one at the end. Everyone's like, why hasn't the WWE signed? I was like, bro, Ronda's coming out. And she came out. Everyone just started losing it. And she looked Asuka and the champions of the time, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte in the face, pointed at the WrestleMania sign. And that was the end shot.
And we all thought she was going to get a title shot at her first WrestleMania. But luckily she fought Triple H and Stephanie along with Kurt Angle.
Yeah. So Byron, what's up, man? What's your favorite men's? I already know what your women's one is. I'm pretty sure.
You probably do. My favorite men's Royal Rumble was a 2005 Royal Rumble because John Cena and Batista were two of my favorite wrestlers growing up. So it's cool to see.
The Dave Batista Rumble.
Yeah. So it was cool to see them in the final two, and then Batista winning it all after that chaotic ending with Vince McMahon tearing both of his ACLs because he was mad that they both went over the top rope. So that is one of my favorite men's Royal Rumbles. And then, of course, my favorite women's Royal Rumble is the one Becky won because I am a huge Becky Lynch fan.
Yeah. For me, I'm going to go with women's. It's the same as Jacob, 2018. Asuka winning. And just from a cultural impact, I never thought I actually would see two Asians win the Royal Rumble in WWE. I'm going to just be honest. No. I just never thought I would see it. And then, of course, they both lose at WrestleMania, and that's a whole other podcast, but whatever. And then my favorite Royal Rumble, I don't think it comes as a surprise because I honestly think objectively this is the best one ever, 2008.
NYC Rumble?
Yes, I honestly think that was the perfect Royal Rumble. One, you had the last two people of last year, Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, start, which I actually think they should make that a trend. Where the last two, if they're not champions, they should start the Royal Rumble the next year. I actually like that. That's just me.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And so you had Undertaker and Shawn Michaels starting it off. Like, that was amazing. You had CM Punk really putting on a show. You had all the things. Batista was in there over 45 minutes, where if you actually look at Batista's track record, he's actually in the Final Four a lot at Royal Rumbles. And, of course, like my first huge pop of who's number 30, and no one expected him to be back, and that was John Cena. Because, I mean, the dude broke his neck, and like no one thought he was coming back anytime soon, and he was number 30. And that final three of Batista, Triple H, John Cena, Triple H the whole year needed to win that Rumble to go finally get back at Orton. And then Cena wins, and then they had to, like, to me, I think that was a perfect storm of a Royal Rumble of surprise. You didn't know who was number 30. You had stars across the board, and I think that was me. I think that was the best one. It's definitely in the top 5.
Yeah.
Without question.
And Cena's pose, like just entering, is just so iconic.
Mm-hmm. And then you hear JR, you have JR, Taz, Michael Cole, Jerry the King Lawler, all going nuts.
The thing about that Rumble is John Cena was not supposed to be there. That was, you know, that's superhuman John healing from injury in just a record amount of time.
That was the first time we saw that of him healing.
Yeah.
Because he was not supposed to be there at all. I'm actually surprised no one picked 20 this past one with, speaking of someone who wasn't supposed to be there, Edge.
Oh, yeah, Edge had a huge pop too. That was great to see him. And he made it to the final 3.
Yeah, but we'll see. But now we're here, 2021, Royal Rumble, men and women. And this is super unpredictable, more unpredictable than it usually is, because we don't know what direction WWE is going to go with these winners. So, Byron, I'm going to toss this one to you first. Who needs to, like, you don't have to say who you think is going to win, but who really needs to win this Rumble, like men and women? Who really need this push to elevate themselves as a top tier talent?
All right, so I have 3. So, first one, obviously, Cesaro, because he's never had a championship title match, and he is such a great wrestler. I think he finally deserves that push to get him to the top of the WWE mountain, so to speak. My second one is Shinsuke Nakamura, because he got screwed out of his last Royal Rumble win, even though he did go into wrestle at WrestleMania, he didn't win. And I think he just needs a main title win as well, along with Cesaro. And then my last one for the men's is Bobby Lashley. Again, another person who he's had the ECW title, but he's never had like a WWE championship title. So I think he needs that one to cement his legacy as a good wrestler as well. Because he went on to Impact and he won their main title, but in WWE, he's never had the main titles besides the ECW championship.
Anyone for the women?
For the women, Shayna Baszler, because she should have won it last year. And yeah, I'm not gonna even go into that, but she should have won it last year and challenged for the title at WrestleMania. And I think we were talking about this on Monday. I think Alexa Bliss deserves a win as well, because she has done excellent work with her new character that she's done, and she hasn't had a women's title in 2 years, something like that. So I think she needs a win as well.
Before I pass it to Justin, just on Alexa Bliss, because Justin made this point that he forgot Ronda Rousey even wrestled. The last time Alexa Bliss had a main title, Ronda Rousey was actually full or quarter time in the WWE.
Yeah, so that was 2019. So 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Justin, how about you, man?
Title from her?
Huh?
Didn't she win her title from Alexa, if I remember correctly?
Yep. Oh, yeah, she beat her ass. Yep. Yeah, she whooped her ass.
I do remember that match. She whooped the dog shit out of Alexa Bliss. That was a fucking... Man, that was a fucking job of Alexa Bliss right there. She definitely jobbed out for Ronda.
SummerSlam, man. SummerSlam. But Justin, bro, how about you? Like, when you're looking at this landscape, like, who really needs this push from the men's and women's side?
I'll start with the ladies first. I agree with Byron. I would have said Alexa Bliss, but she just on Monday fought for the women's world title, the Raw Women's World title. So I think that, you know, we're a new character being aligned with the Fiend, she's going to get her opportunity, so she doesn't necessarily need the Royal Rumble win. So I picked Shayna Baszler as well. She was my pick last year to win the Royal Rumble, and she shouldn't be in a tag team with Nia Jax. Like, the way she was dominating NXT as their NXT Women's Champion is just a travesty that she's not the badass that she should be fighting for Women's World titles. So, yeah, I agree with Byron, Shayna Baszler there. And then for the men, I got to go with Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan last year was fighting The Fiend for the title of the Royal Rumble, lost that, and he's just been kind of floating around ever since. He didn't get the Royal Rumble win back in the day that he should have won, so I think Daniel Bryan needs it, and he'll just be a great opponent for Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. So yeah, I got to do Daniel Bryan for that one.
Those are good ones. Jacob, how about you, man?
All right, so for the women, who needs it? I was going to say I went with Alexa. I think Alexa Bliss with her character. I mean, I was kind of like playing it off to see how last night's results of Raw went, but Alexa needs it the most, in my opinion. Her, or I'll take Bianca Belair. Give it to her because she can skyrocket with that. Because she's right. I think Bianca is teetering on mid-card to main event status right now. For the men, it's kind of funny because I have both Cesaro as my number one, needs it because it's freaking Cesaro. And my other one is Daniel Bryan. But I have a different reason than Justin. The reason I'm saying Daniel Bryan, this is his last full-time run with WWE.
Yep.
So if he's going to go and get that title essentially one last time, now's the time to do it. So I got him as my also could take it, but nobody deserves it more than Cesaro. That changed my mind.
Yeah, so you guys said a lot of people that Cesaro, Daniel Bryan, Big E. The only reason I was really thinking Big E is because they broke New Day up to give this guy his singles run. Yep. So if you're going to see how good he is as a singles competitor, you have him win that Rumble, and you see what he does against the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Like, if you want to see if he could be a next top tier star, that's the way you do it. A person I thought of men who really needed more to go off Alexa Bliss is Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman really needs to, I think he really needs to win this, because ever since he was Universal Champ, and the only reason he was Universal Champ is because Roman didn't want to work because of COVID. So they let Goldberg lose to him. And then The Fiend took his title. He's been MIA basically. So this would be a great way to establish him back into the main title picture and have him win the Rumble. I think he's on Raw, so that he would wrestle Drew in the well, it's not going to be the main event. Whatever Roman does is the last match. But in a main event of WrestleMania, and then besides the women, Alexa Bliss, just like I said, like, you really forget that she was also in between the four horsewomen and before Asuka came up and winning titles. And ever since the four, they've been passing around the women's titles between the five of them, the four horsewomen and Asuka. And Alexa Bliss is up there verbally, and she can work too, but she just hasn't had a title. But a person I also thought of who really needs to win, who I think is going to be in it, Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley was the hottest superstar outside of Becky Lynch in 2019. Won Survivor Series, won War Games, everything. But she ran into that brick wall that is Charlotte Ashley Flair.
The queen, goddammit.
And she took that figure eight and pinned and tapped in the middle of the ring. Ever since then, hasn't been the same since. I know she just ended her feud with Gonzalez on NXT, and she hasn't been really seen. So I think this is her perfect chance to come to the main roster, make a huge impact, win the Rumble, challenge. It'd probably be Asuka on the Raw side, but those are people that I thought about. So then, I guess now with this, Jacob, I'll go with you. Who do you think could be a dark horse who we didn't name that could potentially win?
Dark horses that we didn't name already, because I got two written down. I have Cesaro, of course. But my second dark horse is Keith Lee.
Oh,
I don't hear too many people talking about Keith Lee, but let's face it, Keith Lee can main event anything with anybody. He's that freaking good.
Man, I don't know if WWE necessarily fucks with him though.
That man,
that's what it comes down to with some of these big matches, these big events. Does WWE fuck with you the most?
Yeah.
Well, remember those were the reports where he was going to get sent back down to NXT, but then a week later he was in the main event of Raw Legends against Drew McIntyre.
Well, it wasn't that he was going to get sent back to NXT. He was going to get like sent for like extra practice and extra teaching and coaching and stuff like that.
Which is fucking ridiculous because the man's been in the business for
Jacob's sparking that emotion.
Justin gets it. But for the women, for dark horses, I have Nikki Cross as my dark horse. She just cut one hell of a promo. What was it, a week or two ago? I mean, it was just something she posted up on Instagram or Facebook, if I remember correctly. I think you sent it to me, Martin.
Yep.
And that promo, like, we need that Nikki all the time. That Nikki's a main event star.
Yeah.
So I think she could absolutely go for it. Another one who I have as a dark horse, but definitely is not winning, is Mandy Rose.
Yeah.
No one's really done anything with her. I mean, she's doing the thing with Dana Brooke, which does anybody care?
I sure as hell don't.
So, like, I could see her doing something probably cool, but my main dark horse on the women's Nikki Cross, and on men's would be Keith Lee.
Justin, how about you, man?
I know she's been mentioned, but my dark horse will be Bianca Belair for the women's side because she's been killing it since Survivor Series. That's when she first popped up on my eyes in that elimination match for Survivor Series. She is just athletic. She can do everything. Yep. She's a star. So she's definitely a dark horse to win that match. And then for the men, I gotta go with my boy Seth Rollins.
Seth!
I know he just had the baby, but you know, it'll be great if he just showed up and won second Royal Rumble. So yeah, I gotta go with Seth Rollins there.
That's actually a really, because then you could have Seth versus Roman main event WrestleMania.
And you gotta pick a dark horse that WWE fucks with, and the company does fuck with Seth Rollins. We have seen this since he's been on the main roster. So
that's fair. That's true. Byron, who you got
for men's? I have 3 again. I have Edge because we just talked about this Monday, and then they fuck with Edge, and he just declared for the Rumble on Monday, which I didn't think he was going to come back until like closer to WrestleMania to challenge Randy Orton. So that threw a wrench in my plans. And then Randy Orton, of course, because WWE fucks with Randy Orton. Even when you don't think he's going to win a Rumble, he wins a Rumble. And then AJ Styles, I feel like this might be his last like big hoo-ha in the WWE as well. So winning the Royal Rumble and then going on a main event WrestleMania, I think would be a good send-off for him. And then this is going to be a woozy dark horse for the women, but Nia Jax, because for some reason WWE just loves Nia Jax.
They love her. I get it. I get it. They love her for some reason.
Oh no, there is a reason.
She's the Rock's
her last. She's related to Johnson. Yes. There is a reason. There isn't no reason. There is a reason. Oh,
I love that good WWE nepotism.
So you had 9.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, for the men, I had a lot of people you guys said, so I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna actually go the opposite of what Justin said because it's very true. I'm gonna go with Aleister Black. I think
another one of my guys.
Yeah, I like Aleister.
If he showed up and him versus Drew, this because everyone loves this man. If you watched him at NXT, the guy's phenomenal, and he's just been MIA almost ever since Selena didn't listen to the third party band and made it OnlyFans and got herself fired. But I think he'd be a really good dark horse to win. And then the other one, which I don't know if he's a dark horse, but no one said it, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. I think that he would also be a potential good one to potentially win. And then this one, who I have no idea if he's even going to be there. And I've talked to Jacob about it, and just throwing it out there, Jay White makes his debut, wins the Royal Rumble. Statement made. He goes up against Drew, one of the biggest stars in the world, free agent. Triple H always finds a way to sign top free agents before the Rumble, and he gets them there. For women, Byron, I'm going to go to you because this came out months ago. Peyton Royce. The reason being, WWE broke up the Iconics to see how good Peyton could be individually. And you talk about Survivor Series. I mean, she pinned Bayley, so that was showing that WWE is starting to believe in her. And she just had a match with Charlotte a couple weeks ago that went more than 10 minutes. So I think if there's any time, if you want to see if Peyton can do it, you have her shock the world and win the Royal Rumble. And then obviously there's the other one who I can't believe Justin didn't say her, Charlotte Flair. She's going to be in the final two, no matter what.
I mean, if anyone going back to back, it's definitely the queen.
Like, if you look at the women, she's always been in the final two. So,
yep,
she's going to be in the final
piss me
two.
Off.
But I just think that she will be in it, and she might win. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. And Randy Orton's always good to do it. Before we talk more about the Royal Rumble, there obviously are other matches, and let's just start with the fire burner. Drew McIntyre versus Goldberg. I'm sorry.
Man, do we even gotta talk about this motherfucking man? I swear to God, I can't stand this fucking man.
We gotta talk about it because I have a Royal Rumble scenario that would make sense for Goldberg to win. Because honestly, this is a pick-em match. I'm sorry.
I don't want to hear it. If you have a great philosophy, a bad philosophy, I don't want to hear it.
Well,
I'm with Jacob, bro. You don't even gotta tell me this shit. You ain't gonna convince me that Goldberg should have this spot. All right, fuck it. We can give him the spot. People need to watch the Royal Rumble. That's fine. But there's no way that you can convince me that Goldberg should win this fucking match. There's just no way. Like, why?
Well,
why do we want to see Goldberg in a fucking 5-minute match at WrestleMania main eventing? And if it's not going to be against Roman Reigns. So why are we doing this? Why are we here entertaining this?
It's not for Goldberg. This is what I thought about when this match happened. If Goldberg wins this title, and because he's been about revenge, and he's gotten revenge on everyone except Goldberg, Bray Wyatt will win the Royal Rumble. So that Bray Wyatt can go get revenge on Goldberg. That is the only logical thing I could see happening. So you have Bray Wyatt at the end of the night standing over Bill Goldberg as champion, because that is a person he has not gotten revenge on. Because if you remember last year, Saudi Arabia, couple spears, out of here. And Bray Wyatt literally has on his board people who he was booked that he should have won and he lost. And he's gotten revenge on all of them except Bill. That's the only logical reason, because then Bray wins the Rumble, Alexa Bliss wins the Rumble. They both end WrestleMania as champions, and you have the year of the Fiend and his princess, or Dark Princess, whatever the hell she is. That's what I've been thinking about. And that could happen.
It could happen.
Nah, and here's why it won't happen. So the Fiend's Revenge Tour, after he beats someone, they change. So unless Bill Goldberg never comes back to piss me off, that's never going to happen, because he's not going to change.
Yeah, he might be gone after this. This might be it. Fiend might end him for good.
Dude,
we're all alive. Therefore, Bill's coming back just to keep pissing us off.
Well, hold on. Before recently, Bill hasn't.
The man couldn't wrestle in 1997. I don't know why the fuck we're trying him out here in 2021 and sacrificing guys like.
Because it's the M word. Money.
Is Bill Goldberg money, though?
WCW versus NWO Revenge remake? I don't want to see Goldberg.
I'm telling you. It's the fact that you guys are saying this because you guys know he could potentially win.
I know this. I mean, he's beaten Kevin Owens and The Fiend. So if we're talking about revenge, when is Kevin Owens ever going to get revenge?
Kevin Owens might not ever get a main title again. None of us even mentioned him as a potential. Oh well, he's going to lose to Roman Reigns. He's in a match with Roman.
He's not even going to be in the Royal Rumble match. I don't think.
Yeah, if he wasn't having a big title match, he'd be in the conversation. But because he's having that big title match at Rumble, there's no point in even throwing him in the conversation.
Why not though? Becky had the same thing, and she lost her title match and won the Rumble.
Yeah, but they don't do that so much. And she was the hottest man in the game.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens is not that hot right now.
He's not, but he could be. You win him that Rumble, he could be hot.
Good.
Fights for his family. Just saying.
Listen, as much as I like Kevin Owens, and believe me, I'm a chunky white guy. Kevin Owens is like someone I can look up to.
And you can't move like him either.
I don't see it happening.
All right. Well, Justin, who do you have in this match? Goldberg or Drew?
I gotta go Drew. Like, there's just no way. Like, Drew McIntyre, shit, he probably should have held that title all of 2020. So no, I don't think that he should lose to Goldberg. I don't think we should be taking the face of the company on Raw and giving him the Goldberg when there are so many other options on this main roster that we could be using. Shit, we could pull out Brock Lesnar. We still have the Brock Lesnar card. We still have the Brock Lesnar card. Why are we bringing in Goldberg for these spots? There's still Brock Lesnar, and I know he's still signed to a contract, and I know Vince McMahon will hand them whatever money he wants to show up. So why are we bringing Goldberg when we have Brock Lesnar? And that makes more sense storyline wise anyway. Drew McIntyre beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania.
Why did no one say Brock Lesnar on their potential dark horse to win the Rumble?
Because I forgot when I was talking.
I got him in a different spot.
Because I don't want part-time champions. That's why I didn't put him.
Oh, here we go. Byron, why do you hate the part-time champs, man?
Because I want a champion that shows up every week. I don't want to see him every 3 months. Oh, he's in a match that he's probably going to win. Oh, we can't see him again for another 3 months. I want a champion that I can see every week.
I'll tell Byron why he doesn't like the part-time champion. Because we grew up watching wrestling as kids. You just didn't see that back in the day. You just didn't see it.
No.
If Stone Cold Steve Austin was the champion in 1998, that nigga was on TV every Monday. Like,
right.
You know, that's why they give you the belt. Ric Flair, when he was doing the world tour, like, he defended that belt across the country. Like, you gotta be present if you're gonna be the champ. Like,
yep.
But I mean, it changed because obviously the first real part-time champ was The Rock in 2013 when he beat CM Punk, ended the 434-day reign. But the bad thing is, WWE, when The Rock was champ, made more money. They got more exposure. The Rock gets the business. He was taking that belt to red carpet premieres. So, I mean...
Yeah, you bring up The Rock. Is Bill Goldberg The Rock? Is he on
absolutely
the
not.
red carpet? Is Brock Lesnar on the red carpet?
Bill Goldberg on Forged with Fire on History Channel. No, I don't see it happen.
No, I'm just saying with the part-time champ. I mean, if it makes sense, I don't think John Cena will. I don't.
Yeah, and I agree. It makes sense with a certain guy. You know, The Rock, a John Cena. Yeah, they can make that work. But fucking Bill Goldberg sucks. He wasn't a worker in his prime. Why are we giving him these big spots? I don't understand. It'll be one thing. You know, when Triple H comes back, he does his part-time shit. He puts on a good match. I'm not trying to watch WrestleMania and see Goldberg spear a nigga for fucking 3 minutes. I'm just not.
I would say also, too, with Bill and more of the part-time thing, Justin, if you do remember, probably one of the best years of wrestling in the recent was 2015, and our main champion was part-time. That's more to Byron because Byron hates the part-timers.
Yeah, I mean, Brock, like I said, Brock Lesnar's in my, category, so he can be a part-time champ. I have no.
Because Byron, I would say also too, with Brock being the champion wasn't there, these there was matches like, hey, if you win this, you could potentially be a number one contender. So those matches meant more.
I mean, yes, that was fine for that time, but I'm just so done with part-time champions. I just want to see my champion on TV defending it. I mean, he doesn't have to be defended every week, but just I miss those random, like, oh, it's a Monday night, let's have a championship match just for shits and giggles.
Jacob, what do you think, man, about these part-timers and champs? I know you're not really a fan of it either, but you understand if it makes sense.
Yeah, I understand the money-making part, and Vince is all about that.
Yep.
From a business standpoint, I completely get it. From a fan standpoint, I hate it more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely cannot stand it. On the Drew Goldberg thing, I mean, obviously, I'm going Drew McIntyre. Drew's literally been the face of the company, like Justin said.
Yeah.
He's been the best face, I think, in a long time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's the only face I've actually cared about to an extent, really. If he loses, he's going to lose in 3 minutes. Drew McIntyre does not deserve to lose in 3 minutes. If he's going to lose in 3 minutes, it needs to be to someone who's a full-timer. If you repackage, I know like you had, we'll just say Aleister Black, for example. If you repackage him right, those two can absolutely tear down the house. I forget if it was Progress or ICW over there in the UK.
Yeah.
They've wrestled each other. They can tear the house down. They can absolutely do it. So no, I hate the part-time stuff, but I understand the money side of it. But as a fan, I can't stand it.
I really do think this match, I don't know who they're going to book to win, but Byron, I'm going to throw this to you. After, like, let's say a Spear Claymore, if Miz cashes in and becomes champ, how does that change things in the Rumble and going forward?
It definitely changes things because the Miz is actually one guy I think deserves another title shot, especially after I forget what year it was when he went on that tirade on Talking Smack. They should have put the title on him then, but they didn't.
If I remember,
yeah, I think it was 2016. Yep. So if the Miz cashes in, I'll be happy, even though I think Drew deserves to go on to wrestle at WrestleMania as a champ. But if the Miz cashes in, it does change a bunch of storylines. But I wouldn't be mad if the Miz cashed in and won.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I hope that match is first so we get it out of the way. Another title shot match that we're all going to pick the same person. Roman versus Kevin Owens. This is just a general thing. Whoever answers first. Are they going to let Kevin, is it going to look like Kevin could actually win, or is it just going to be a Roman Samoan beatdown all night?
I think they're going to book Kevin to look strong in this match. I mean, the type of shit that Roman Reigns has been saying, like I said, Kevin Owens is the fighting for his family character. As you know, the man of your family, you can't take the disrespect that Roman Reigns has been given to you in the last man standing match at that. So, and then in the 2004 Royal Rumble, Triple H and Shawn Michaels put on a great show at that. It was a last man standing match, and that ended in a draw. So you can't book a last man standing match as a squash. So I think that Kevin Owens will look good in the match, but we all know who's going to.
Jacob, what do you think, man?
Bravo, buddy. Like, you're nailing it out of the park on like everything you're saying. I agree with 100%. Kevin Owens is going to look strong. Listen, they got that demographic of chubby white guys who love the product. Got to keep them happy. So they're going to make him look strong. Of course they are. But yeah, Roman's going over. I don't even think it's much of a question. What I think is going to happen is I think Jay is going to interfere.
Yes.
Once again. I think he's going to interfere, and I think that's going to end up, I think that's going to be your match at Mania for Kevin. Is going to be Kevin versus Jay at Mania. And they'll have a super 4-star match. No doubt.
When's Jimmy coming back?
I was just about to ask that. Because, like, if he comes back,
I have no idea.
Is he going to be, like, is he going to be with the tribal chief, or is he going to be like, oh, I need to stand up against my family because Roman Reigns is acting a fool out here?
He's going to fall in line.
Yeah, he's going
to fall in line. It's the tribal chief's table, and he's going to have a seat at the table.
What's Jimmy hurt with right now? What's wrong with him?
I'm not sure.
Does anyone know?
I'm not off the top. The last time I thought they were gone because when they had those DUIs again.
Well, you know what family they're associated with, so they're not going to get fired.
I know, and they've had multiples, and they've all been back. So, trust me, I know the family name, and if we had real fans, I actually think I would have picked him to win the Rumble. So,
Jimmy?
No.
Okay.
Dwayne.
The Rock.
Mm-hmm. If they had fans, that was the goal.
This year.
That was the goal. That was the goal this year.
Yep.
To have Roman versus Rock main event at Hollywood, but since COVID flipped everything around, they're gonna have to wait a couple years.
Next year's at Dallas, correct?
AT&T Stadium.
Yeah, the LA Super Bowl is 2 years.
All right. Well, 2 years. You heard it here first on the L7C. Rock wins the Rumble.
2023 Royal Rumble. Pencil it.
Yep. Oh, easy. Unless someone gets hurt, then everything goes to shreds. Byron, man, how do you think this Kevin versus Roman one's going to go? I know you're going Roman. We all are. But.
Yes, I am going Roman because he is on a hot streak right now since he's came back at SummerSlam. He is playing the heel role very, very well. And I mean, we all wanted him to be a heel like a couple years ago. But now that he's a heel, he's just been doing the role so well. And I think he just needs to keep it going until WrestleMania. And like Jacob and Justin said, they'll book Kevin Owens to look strong because it's the last man standing match. Can't look weak in the last man standing match. But definitely Roman is winning this.
Fair enough. Going to the other title match that's happening. Sasha Banks versus Carmella. And also today's her birthday. So happy birthday, Sasha Banks. It's crazy that we're all the same age as her. That's wild. But I don't see this going too long. I really see a Banks statement, 1, 2, 3, game over. What are you guys thinking? Jacob?
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Sasha's going over. I don't think that's much of a question.
Justin?
Yeah, definitely less than 10 minutes. Sasha wins. But I do like to say her Carmella's little servant last week. He can move. Yeah, he was impressive.
Yes,
he was impressive. He was
move.
flipping around that ring. I was like, damn.
He can
Put a
move.
cruiserweight title on you or something.
Right.
Byron?
Sasha. I mean, I don't see Carmella as like a real threat to Sasha's championship. I think Carmella needs to be booked differently. I don't know how, but I just don't see her as a credible threat to Sasha's championship.
Man, I can't believe in 2021, we all picked Sasha Banks to win a match on a pay-per-view where literally 2 years ago, we would all laugh at that notion.
I mean, she's not going against Charlotte or Bailey or anyone that she probably should beat
one match first.
So she's pay-per-views. You don't have to worry when it's not a 4-horsewoman or Asuka.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I mean, she beat Bailey.
Fair enough.
With Hell in a Cell.
We were all shocked.
Yeah. I thought that should have been the WrestleMania match. I
did too.
Used that.
Yes.
I thought they used that up too early. Yeah,
they rushed that. That's why I'm interested to see who's going to win this women's run. Speaking of the women's, the tag teams are on the line. Probably the greatest women tag team Asuka and Charlotte go against, I think it's Nia and Shayna Baszler.
Yep.
Right now after Monday, I potentially see Asuka and Charlotte losing because of one who we did not name in Dark Horses, Lacey Evans.
Woo!
Jacob, what do you think about that match? And do you think Lacey's gonna play a factor in it?
Oh yeah, 100%. Lacey's definitely playing a factor in it somehow, some way. I think Rick's going to screw Charlotte over more than Lacey will.
Oh man, that's bad.
But because Charlotte's not relevant unless she's riding Daddy's coattails.
Wow.
And
damn.
I'm just saying. But I mean, on paper, I'm going Asuka and Charlotte just because it's Charlotte Flair. If she loses, it's official. Like, if she loses, then she very well could win the Rumble.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It depends where this match starts out at on the card. That's how a lot of these I think would vary, is depending on where they're at on the card.
Justin, you are the residential Queen fan. You said buy this woman. You love this woman. How do you think this one's going on? And do you agree with Jacob that if they lose, Charlotte really may, in fact, win back-to-back Royal Rumbles?
Yeah, that's probably where it's going. Now that we're talking about it, I just don't see Asuka and Charlotte being tag team champions all the way into WrestleMania. As they gotta pull the plug on that sometime because these are single stars, so they're going to be in singles matches for WrestleMania. They're not a tag team in the traditional tag team sense. So yeah, if I think Shayna Baszler should win the Royal Rumble, but I just don't see Asuka and Charlotte leaving as tag team champions because, like Jacob said, depending on where this is on in the card, like if the Royal Rumble match is before it, I think they're going to win, and if it's after, I think they're going to lose. I think Charlotte and Asuka are going to lose.
Byron? Oh, go ahead, Justin.
It just matters where this match is on the card.
Go ahead, Byron.
I have Charlotte and Asuka winning because they just put the tag team titles on Charlotte. She literally just came back. So I don't think she'll lose them this soon, but I do think they'll eventually lose them. I just don't think it'll be at the Rumble.
Let me throw this scenario at you guys because it's crazy that in 5-6 years, Charlotte's already at the stage where she doesn't have to win a title ever again. She can be in the giving backstage and she can make stars. And Lacey, whenever they wrestle, I know it's not going to happen, but when Lacey and Charlotte wrestle, Charlotte's going to beat her ass. But let me throw this scenario at her to truly make this woman a star. If Lacey doesn't interrupt and cost Charlotte and Asuka the titles, what if Lana does? Because remember, that's supposed to be Lana's spot. So then Charlotte and Lana wrestle, and Charlotte makes a real star out of Lana. Could you guys see that happening?
I don't think Lana has the work rate to be a star in WWE to do that. So no.
She has the looks. She needs one good match.
I don't think.
I could see it happening if Lana really trained to be a good wrestler. Because right now, she hasn't been in that many matches. And when she's in a match, she loses.
And she's terrible.
Right. So I think if she works hard and really learns how to wrestle, she potentially could be a star because she does have the look that WWE is going for. So I think she just has to learn how to wrestle.
Jacob, I know me and you talk about Lana every podcast, and I'm pretty sure you're shocked that I'm the one who brought her up, but what do you think of that?
Man, I still think Lana is going to have a title by SummerSlam.
This would be the time to do it. This is where it starts.
But I don't see it happening till after Mania. I still think she's going to have a title. I don't think her reign's going to last long. If anybody's messing with Charlotte right now, it's got to be Rick or Lacey. And I think it's going to be Rick.
Fair enough, man. It's just, WWE, you expect the unexpected. So those are the matches.
I mean, if it would happen, I would not be mad about it, though.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because she would constantly screw up, and therefore you would bitch every podcast, and I would laugh. I'm all about it.
So you just want chaos, Jacob.
Oh, absolutely.
Speaking of chaos, just some last Royal Rumble things. I'm going to just throw different questions to you guys individually. Justin, Ronda Rousey shows up. She wins the Rumble. Yes or no?
No.
Nani?
I'm going to say...
I mean... Go ahead, Brian.
I was going to say, I mean, she hates WWE fans right now, so I don't see her coming back anytime soon.
Yeah, but money is a very powerful thing.
Money is a very powerful thing, but she left WWE to have a child, which I don't think she has had that child yet. So I don't think she's coming back until either the money looks right or B, she has a child. It just depends on which is a stronger desire for her right now.
Fair enough. Byron, Brock Lesnar shows up, wins the Royal Rumble. Yes or no?
Maybe. It's Brock Lesnar. The money, again, I don't want a part-time champion, but I do understand the business side of WWE. So if the money looks right for Brock Lesnar, and they'll get ratings because it's Brock Lesnar. So I'm not going to say no. I'm just going to say maybe. It could happen.
Jacob, in the Women's Royal Rumble, would you rather take one of the 4 horsewomen or the field?
To win it?
Yeah, would you think one of the 4 horsewomen are going to win it or someone else? Who would you rather take?
I don't think the 4 horsewomen are going over this time. I really do think it's going to be someone from the field. I do want to make a quick note about the whole Brock Lesnar thing.
Mm-hmm.
I have Brock Lesnar as one of my possible special appearances.
Yeah, that's good.
And could we? If Brock shows up, it wouldn't necessarily shock me if he wins the Rumble, because you're then going to get Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman. Back, do you remember when CM Punk faced Brock with Paul?
Yes, I do. SummerSlam 2013.
That was entertaining. The build-up was great. I could see them doing it over again, but have it where Brock's face.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get a face Brock?
Will he be face? Because he plays a very good heel. Like, he plays a character you just want to hate.
But Byron, when you're that big and you can beat the hell out of anybody, people are going to cheer for it.
That's true.
And Roman's got to go. It's at that point. He's too strong.
Yeah.
Someone's got to take him out.
It would be Brock.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar would be the face technically on paper in that match, but Brock Lesnar isn't a face. He's just Brock. He's just there. That's his character.
Yeah.
Good guy, bad guy. It's Brock.
Speaking of special appearances, I'm going to throw this one to you, Justin, because obviously it was supposed to be Rock versus Roman, and me and you had the bet a long time ago. And if it wasn't for literally cancer and COVID, I actually would have won the bet.
Yes, you would have.
That Roman was going to main event 6 straight WrestleManias, and I got to 4 before unforeseen circumstances. And then you even admitted if it wasn't for that, he would have main evented 6. And obviously they're trying to build his legacy. Brock versus Roman at WrestleMania, that'd be the 3rd time, which I don't know if we need that. But since we've not mentioned him, he doesn't have to win the Rumble, but come close. What about a SmackDown main event of Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman versus a returning John Cena? John Cena trying to catch 17. John Cena puts Roman over. That's a big put over at WrestleMania. Could that potentially happen?
That has dollar signs all over it. Oh my God. I don't think it happens this one. I think that's a great idea. I think they probably have thought about it in the writer's room. I don't think it's a very smart writer's room, but they probably should think about that idea. But yeah, they should definitely save that one for fans. That's a big pop waiting to happen.
Speaking of John Cena, I did read an article from Ringside News on Twitter today that John Cena does have WrestleMania plans. They just don't know what it is yet.
Oh, that goes to what Justin said. They don't know what the hell they're doing. Justin, do you have any special appearances? I mean, we've already named Cena, Brock. Do you think anyone else crazy is going to show up?
Yeah, I was going to say Brock Lesnar, but you guys, of course, took it. I'm gonna go out the woods with this one. I think women's side, we might see a Tessa Blanchard sighting. I know that, you know, she has some baggage with some of the other female wrestlers in wrestling, period, some in that locker room, but the woman's credentials cannot be matched. The family lineage cannot be argued with. She won a freaking world title in another company, the world title, not men's or women's, the world title. So yeah, I think that she can definitely be a big player, and WWE has the cash to lure her in. So absolutely, I think she could be on the card. And like you said earlier, Triple H always brings in a free agent before the Royal Rumble, so she would be a great free agent.
I think she'd go SmackDown. I think that's a Sasha Banks versus Tessa WrestleMania. I think that would be the move.
Yeah.
They're not going to put her on Raw because, listen, Raw has Charlotte, and Becky's going to be back on Raw when she comes back. So, Byron, who do you have? Do you have Becky potentially making a face? Not like entering, but like showing her face or something like that?
Depends. I think she could. I mean, she's due to be back. If Seth comes back, I feel like she potentially could come back on the same night like Edge and Beth Phoenix did last year. So I could see potentially them both being special Rumble appearances or just showing their face like in a backstage interview. Some other special Rumble appearances I had, NXT guys or NXT women, they're always in the Rumble. Like they've been in the last couple Rumbles. For the ones, I had Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole for the men's. And then for the women's, I had Candice LeRae, Io Shirai, and Rhea Ripley as my special Rumble appearances.
Before I go into this, Justin, for the viewers out there, our group message, we have a WWE Pick'em belt where we pick big 4 pay-per-views, and whoever wins, we pass the belt around. So, Justin, first, before I ask you this, are you doing the Pick'ems this year?
Yeah. we'll see. We'll see what I'm doing this weekend.
Because
I always forget to do them. I always want to. I just be forgetting to send them in.
I mean, did it last year. The reason, because I don't want to ask you this, because I'm going to be honest, I'm not saying who I'm going to win, because I don't need you guys to know who I'm going to pick. But I was going to ask, when the night's over, who do you see potentially standing as a Royal Rumble winner? Like, you have to pick one name. Doesn't have to be your pick now, but just like right now, you could change it Sunday. But who do you think wins? Boys and girls, who do you think wins right now? If you put on the spot.
Right now, for men's, I gotta go Daniel Bryan. Just because, he's always a big name. He's always a factor in WWE. And like Jacob said, it could be his last potential hurrah. So that'll be a good way to send him off, give him the Royal Rumble win that he deserves. Then women's side, I'm going with Bianca Belair. She needs that push. If I do the picks, I'm going to pick her. So steal it if you guys want to. I don't know if you guys want to take my picks anyway. I don't typically do very well in the Royal Rumble picks, but yeah, I'm going with her.
Jacob, who do you think right now, as of Tuesday, boy and girl win the Royal Rumbles? And this is we're all gonna change by Sunday. I already know it, but
like I said earlier, it depends where everything falls on the card. But right now, I got The Fiend winning the men's.
Yep.
I got Alexa Bliss winning the women's. I'm basically stealing off of you from our last podcast. I didn't promote because I'm a terrible human being.
You are, but you had COVID, so it's all good.
Something else I kind of wanted to throw in that Byron was talking about with special appearances and women, or no, Justin was talking about. Did you said Tessa? Someone else who I think might show up. Not going to win, not a chance in hell, but I think it's going to show up. Eva Marie.
Oh,
interesting.
Yeah.
I would say I think she's going to show up. I have no idea why. I just have this weird feeling that she's going to show up.
They've been talking about her coming back for months now.
Yeah. I just think she's going to show up. I think Rhea makes her main roster debut that night too.
I like it.
The biggest thing with Tessa is, and as much as I'd like to see Tessa, I'd love to see Tessa on NXT. But the biggest thing with Tessa is, does she go to AEW? Her dad is in AEW.
I guess it comes down to who's offering her more money.
Yep.
If that's what she's looking for, if she's looking for sustained push, she needs to go to AEW. Because AEW's women are trash. So, and Tessa will soon learn, if she wins a title here, you're only holding it until you go against Charlotte Flair. And if she doesn't want to live that type of life, you don't come here.
Yep.
Byron, who I know you're not going to tell the truth, but who do you think is going to win the Rumble?
I'm not telling the truth because I'm trying to win on Sunday and I'm trying to win that battle on Sunday.
I understand.
But right now, my top pick for the women's would be Shayna Baszler. That's not who I'm picking, but like I said earlier, she deserves it more because she should have won it last year. And then for the men's, AJ Styles.
I would add on to his legacy. Look, I think with the women's, excluding Charlotte, I think it comes down to Bianca Belair and Alexa Bliss. I really do. And with the men's, I do think it comes down between. That would be freaking crazy if it was Daniel Bryan and The Fiend, the final two. That'd be amazing. But I'm going to just put it out here since we're talking about couples coming back. And you brought up the thing about Heyman. Men and women, F it, who cares? AJ Lee and CM Punk win the Rumble. Let's just throw it out there.
That is a real fake pick right there. That is some great politicking right there. You're like, I'm not giving these motherfuckers my real pick.
I'm more of it saying it for CM Punk. I know that's not happening, but AJ Lee's actually always a possibility. She left on good terms.
But was she?
Oh, Punk's a possibility. Absolutely.
Man.
It's always a possibility, but it's
No, but AJ, I could see happening. Punk, well, I don't know. I don't know, man. Like Punk versus Roman at WrestleMania. You want to talk about money?
That would be a good match.
But AJ versus Sasha Banks,
Also a good match.
like
Would CM Punk do that job for Roman Reigns? Because I don't think he will.
Justin, you know the answer for that, so don't even ask it.
No,
There's a reason he left in 2014.
because he should have been the main event. I'm with him. He should have been the main event.
I mean, he's not wrong about that. Like,
too.
I agree with his premise that he should have been the main event, but the way he went about it, he just said "fuck WWE" and then embarrass himself in
UFC.
the UFC. So, I think for him, he needs to make a comeback.
He had a couple indie shows where he wore a luchador mask. I'm just saying, he has wrestled since.
I mean, yeah, that's true, but at least I didn't say like Stone Cold. I mean, that's a real politician.
Hey, he's on TV all the damn time. If his neck wasn't literally hanging from a thread, he would be the part-timer of all part-timers. If he could actually
win.
wrestle.
And we'd all be okay with it.
We'd be fine.
Like, hell yeah.
He would be perfect. But just to wrap this up, just want to bring this up too with the Royal Rumble. There's only been 7 WWE superstars who've won it multiple times. Obviously, Stone Cold, 97, 98, 01. Hulk Hogan, 1990, 1991. Shawn Michaels, 95, 96. Triple H, 02, 2016. Batista, 05, 2014. Randy Orton, 09, 2017. I like how the evolution people have huge gaps.
Right.
And then John Cena, 08 and 2013. And if one of Justin's people win, Seth Rollins will be the 8th.
Yeah,
Which I could see happening, to be honest.
I could too, honestly.
If Roman Reigns didn't have the belt, it'll be him.
Fair enough. Guys, we really dug deep into this Royal Rumble.
We
go ahead, Jacob.
One thing here, boys.
What?
What's up?
I got to support my mid-carders. Who's going to win Matt Riddle versus Bobby Lashley?
How's that actually happening?
Yeah, it was official as of last night.
Oh, Bobby Lashley?
Matt Riddle.
Matt Riddle?
Matt Riddle.
Yeah, I'm going Matt Riddle. Justin?
I think it's
Hurt Business Bobby Lashley.
I mean, I think I want Bobby Lashley to win the Rumble because that would make the Hurt Business really boom. But Matt Riddle, look, man, the guy survived getting fired for having the sexual assault allegations. If you survive that, you're going to get a title.
I mean, Velveteen Dream survived.
Yeah.
He survived. Hell yeah, he did. But see, they're letting these people survive, but Enzo had the sniff of it, and they fired him on the spot, and he had no
They
proof.
didn't fuck with Enzo, and he sucked.
Oh no, Enzo was the most entertaining cruiserweight champion that it was.
I actually liked him.
You might not like him as a wrestler. Everybody talked about Enzo when he was the champion.
I thought Enzo and Big Cass should have been tag team champions.
Yeah,
they messed that up real bad. But what can you do? But shoot. But now that we hit that, I think we've hit everything. We really dug deep into this Royal Rumble. So I'm gonna just go through. Let's start with the resident WWE guy, Jacob. Any last word for the fans?
No, thanks for listening because I have not promoted jack shit as of recently. I've been made very aware of that by the presidents of the L7C company. Make sure we are promoting the shit out of this one. So, thank you all for listening. Justin, Byron, this was a lot of fun. You guys need to come back on.
Oh, I'll definitely come.
Justin's a part-timer. He won't be back till WrestleMania.
Facts.
That's fine. I mean, to be fair, Justin fixes like constantly all the audio that breaks when me and you do our podcast. So, thank you, Justin. I really do appreciate it.
Do it for everyone. It's all good.
Justin, man, you got any last things for the fans?
Man, I hope you guys were as pumped up as a Royal Rumble as I am, man. Woo! I do like to say, R.I.P. Kobe Bryant. 1 year ago today, Royal Rumble 2020 was today, and we lost a legend that day. So, R.I.P. Kobe.
Byron.
If Charlotte wins, I riot. No, I'm kidding.
All the police.
No, I'm just really excited for the Royal Rumble. It's always a big event at the Martin household. Hopefully we'll win the belt this year, but if not, it's okay. I'm just looking forward to all the shenanigans that's going to happen at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, for me personally, it's the two best weeks of the year back to back. The Royal Rumble and then the Super Bowl the week after that. And as Justin said, that was actually going to be my biggest thing for the last one. It's a year passing of Kobe Bryant literally on this Royal Rumble. And I remember hours before when I got the news and I just sat in my room and I didn't move. I was just staring at the wall. And going into that Royal Rumble, obviously, because people came over to watch. Justin, you were actually here that one too. And Byron, I realized how big wrestling is in my life because for those, it was 4 hours. For those 4 hours, I was able to just hang out, joke around, rumble, do promos, all that stuff. And you wouldn't think that Kobe died in those 4 hours because I was able to escape through wrestling, which showed how much wrestling is an escape for me. Because then like that next Monday after the Rumble, I was like, oh my gosh, Kobe died. I almost sad again. But wrestling's an escape, man. It's great entertainment, especially when you're watching it with people you enjoy being with, especially the Royal Rumble when you're all jumping up and down for surprise guests and eliminations and all that. So yeah, a year ago, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. And thank you, WWE, for giving me the perfect escape in wrestling and the Royal Rumble.
Agree with everything you just said.
Yeah, with that being said, thank you everyone for listening to the L7C podcast. Thank you, Jacob, Byron, and Justin for being on. This was our biggest wrestling one because there's 4 of us. So got a lot of content, and Justin will definitely have this one out for you guys this week, obviously, because the Royal Rumble is this Sunday. So you'll be able to hear our insight. Copy it if you want. If you're doing picks at home, PW score sheets, they always do the best score sheets around. So yeah, just let's go. Royal Rumble week. Let's get it.
Episode be out on Thursday morning at the latest.
Okay,
Justin. Okay. Well, with that being said, thank you everyone for listening to the L7C podcast. You guys take care. Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.